처음에는 그 소식을 좀 늦게 들었어가지고 그때 형이 몇 시에 알려줬었죠?
제가 한 3시 한 20분인가 반.
앞으로 멤버들과 꼭 함께 하고 싶은 것이 있다면? 저는 진짜 솔직히 다 필요 없고요.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to Jikook Diaries channel, where we discuss every little detail that makes ARMY's hearts flutter, especially when it comes to Jimin and Jungkook. Today, the entire fanbase community was once again excited by a moment that may seem simple, but for Jikookers, it speaks more than 1,000 words, because this time, we're going to discuss a truly fascinating moment. When Jimin indirectly denied that he was with Jungkook, but his facial expression, tone of voice, and especially his smile said something completely different. It all started with a casual interview Jimin did to promote his recent music project. As usual, whenever Jimin appears in front of the camera, there's a gentle and sincere aura that leaves everyone speechless. He answered questions one by one in a soft and calm tone. But then, a question came up that suddenly changed the atmosphere. The interviewer asked, jokingly yet pointedly, "Are you still hanging out with Jungkook these days? You two seem really close." For a moment, Jimin's expression changed. He looked down slightly, then chuckled, trying to maintain his composure. No. We're both busy with our own activities," he said with a smile. But anyone who knew him, especially ARMY who had followed them for a long time, knew that smile wasn't just any smile. There was something behind his gaze, something soft, something that couldn't be hidden by the word no. Jimin's smile at that moment became a huge topic of conversation on social media. Many ARMY immediately edited, slow-motioned, and analyzed his facial expressions from various angles. Some said, if he really isn't with Jungkook, why did he react like that? Others added, he doesn't need to answer with yes or no, because his smile says it all. And indeed, if we look back at Jimin and Jungkook's relationship over the years, moments like this are nothing new. They always have a way of showing their feelings without having to say it directly. There was something genuine in the way they interacted, the lingering gazes, the synchronized body movements, or the spontaneous moments that felt natural and comfortable. Even before the interview, a few days earlier, fans had noticed small details that further confirmed the belief that the two were still spending time together. Jimin had been seen wearing a black hoodie that closely resembled Jungkook's. Furthermore, during Jungkook's recent live broadcast, a reflection in the mirror led many fans to speculate that there was someone else in the room. Many noticed the shape of his shoulders, the color of his shirt, and even the way the shadow moved, and yes, most ARMYs immediately guessed it was Jimin. However, Jimin and Jungkook have always been known to maintain their privacy. They rarely reveal personal details directly, perhaps not because they want to hide anything, but because they both understand the impact of every word they say in public. Jimin has always been known as a gentle and cautious person. He knows that a single sentence can trigger a worldwide uproar. So, rather than explaining everything with words, he chooses to smile a smile that only those who truly know him can understand. This moment of denial reflects a relationship that goes much deeper than just being a groupmate. Many ARMYs recall their past, from their trainee days to the early years of BTS's debut, how Jimin often took care of Jungkook, who was still very young, how Jungkook often leaned on him, and how the two grew together amidst immense pressure. The closeness they built wasn't something artificial. It was the result of a long journey, mutual trust, and perhaps love in its purest form. There's a very famous moment among Jikookers when, on a variety show, Jungkook shyly said that Jimin was the person who made him most comfortable in the dorm. It was a simple statement, but when you look at the way he said it, there's a sincerity that's hard to deny. Over time, that closeness never truly faded, even though both of them are now busy with their own lives. Returning to that interview, many fans believe that Jimin's denial was actually a form of protection. He probably didn't want excessive speculation to bother Jungkook or himself. But at the same time, he couldn't hide the warm feeling. Because every time Jungkook's name was mentioned, there was a soft sparkle appeared in his eyes that appeared spontaneously, uncontrollably. It wasn't a forced expression. It was the expression of someone holding back a smile because their heart was already smiling.
지금 질투하는 거예요, 지금? 질투하세요! 전 지민이 계속 잡겠습니다.
Shortly after the interview was released, Jungkook did a short live broadcast on Weverse. Fans immediately noticed his mood. He looked more cheerful than usual and glanced to the right several times as if talking to someone off camera. When one fan commented, "Did you watch Jimin's interview?" Jungkook simply smiled and took a sip of his drink without responding. But at the end of the live broadcast, before he ended the broadcast, he murmured softly, "I always support him as always." While it might seem trivial to some, for Jikookers it was a sweet, unspoken confirmation. It's moments like these that make their story so compelling. Never entirely clear, but always warm and meaningful. There's something so tender between Jimin and Jungkook. A connection that can't be described simply as friends, colleagues, or even brothers. They have a deeper connection, one that can be felt without words. In a world full of rumors and gossip, Jimin chose a different form of honesty, not long explanations, but silences that spoke volumes. He knew that those who truly paid attention would understand the meaning of every look, every smile, and every tiny pause between his words. That was the beauty of their relationship. No need for affirmation, because it was so obvious. Many fans wrote on social media after that moment, "Jimin may say no, but his smile says yes." And perhaps that's true. Sometimes the truest love is the one unspoken, but felt. If we look at their journey over the years, we can see that Jimin and Jungkook's relationship wasn't something that came about suddenly. They've been through many difficult times together. From the rigorous training sessions, to the sleepless nights, to the moments when the world began to recognize BTS. Amidst it all, they've cared for each other, supported each other, and been there for each other in silence. That's why, even though they appear less frequently together in public, fans can still feel that connection lingering hidden behind the smiles, the looks, and the sweet "no" that Jimin says. At the end of the interview, after all the questions were over, Jimin chuckled and looked at the camera, saying, "I hope everyone is happy today." That simple sentence felt like a deeper message, as if he was speaking not just to his fans, but also to someone special who might be watching from afar. And that's where the beauty of Jikook's story always lies, in the small, unplanned moments, in the expressions that can't be hidden, and in the way they continue to connect despite the ever-changing world around them. Jimin may be in denial, but the world knows that love isn't always measured by words. Sometimes, just one sincere smile is enough to tell the whole story. And finally, after all the talk, speculation, and sweet laughter that came from that one meaningful no, we're reminded once again that Jimin and Jungkook's relationship isn't just about what they say on camera, but about what they show through their warmth, trust, and unwavering gaze. They've grown together, weathered the storms of popularity, and maintained a connection that time or distance can't erase. For many armies, moments like this aren't just about two idols they love, but about two hearts that understand each other without the need for words. Jimin may smile and say no, but every little expression tells more than 1,000 words could ever explain. And perhaps, behind that smile, lies a love so sincere and so secretly protected, not to hide, but to protect. Thank you for watching this video until the end, Army. If you believe Jimin's smile is the answer to all the questions we've had, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the latest stories about Jikook, who always makes our hearts flutter. See you in the next video, where we'll explore the small, meaningful details of two people who made the world smile with just one look. This is Jikook Diaries, and as always, words can be deceitful, but smiles always tell the truth.